Hello and welcome to Durban Garden City. Now this video is an update and a layout tour. A friend of mine who I used to go to school with, she's asked me if I would basically do a video showing all of the layout, and those of you who follow me on YouTube have probably seen one of these that I have done before. But I thought I'd do this as an update as well. So I'm going to crack straight on with it, so I don't want to bore Diane too much. But I can start off by saying that this layout, looking from this end, as you can see, is approximately 14 feet by about 9 feet wide. Now the shed obviously is bigger, but that's the size of the layout that you're looking at, and it is basically a complete loop. So this is me now the other end, looking back to where I was. Okay, now we'll go over it in a little bit more detail. So we'll start off in the corner. As you can see, there's a station here with the two main lines going through it. There's a small terminus here, which obviously goes to a dead end, which is where the rail car is sitting and usually does sit. There is a little track just to the left here, which, although it adds a bit of interest to the layout, it also holds as a holding point, so I can swap from one train to another. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Topley Dale layout, which is by the guys who produced the Hornby magazine, but this is loosely based on their layout. I did make other layouts too, in actual fact, and I just couldn't settle, and I run into different problems, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to simplify this and copy somebody else's. To a point. If you look at theirs and look at mine, you'll see that what I'm doing over on the left hand side of the board in a minute is far different to what they're doing, but that makes it my own and not a direct copy. So there we go, you've got the station with a little bit of hillside. There is a little bit of a scrap area there where some old boy there has took it upon himself to make himself a fire. I can tell you my daughter painted that when she was about 8 years old, so obviously she's got the bug. And although my layout has a combination of steam trains and diesels, it is loosely set in the 1980s, 1990s. For the sake of those who like to be a bit more specific and stick to an era, well, anything that predates the 1980s can run on this layout, because, of course, there is an adjoining preservation line somewhere, isn't there? Of course there is. Alright, I don't stick too much to the rules. It's a model railway. I put on it the things I like, I do what makes me happy, and, you know, you're probably the same yourself. Okay, so moving around from the station, we're going to this bit of a stockyard here. Now, I've got to be honest with you, although all the track is live and I can shunt up and down, it's become a bit of a storage ground for things that just needs to be put somewhere rather than put on a shelf. So, I don't know, let me think. So you can see there's all the usual junk and bits and pieces that would surround such a yard. Now, this signal box is very similar to one at Louth in Lincolnshire. Incidentally, those of you who don't know, we're in Grimsby, and there was supposed to be a northeastern theme going on with this railway, but as you can see, I've opted for the red over there because of the bridge and the lights, which wasn't exactly our region, but again, I'm not that fussed. Alright, the Intercity 125 the Hornby version without sound but with working lights. In its full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7-car train there. Stands in another siding, obviously because of its length, and can be joining the track anywhere soon. One of my favourite locos is the Mallard on the Grantham embankment. This sign does exist, and it just obviously commemorates the speed that was reached by the loco, which is a record that's still held today. It wouldn't be that close to a station, but this again is a model. I'm only putting it there as a token gesture to the loco that I have running on here. The same can be said for the TARDIS. Now this TARDIS belongs to my wife, and it appears in all sorts of different relocations on my layout. So I know she moves it about, or the kids do. I never know where I'm going to find it next. So you might see it somewhere else on another video later on. This area here is where the main lines separate. Oh, I should come back a bit and show you that, should I? So there you go, look, the two main lines are where the trains are now. And where the other Intercity 125 is, that's just an end point. Again, somewhere to store things. And these two lines do actually branch off. And if I slowly follow around, the signal hasn't gone in yet, and there's a bit more greenery going on here. This is getting near how it should be in its finished state. So if I hold that like that, you can see the effect that I'm trying to achieve. Alright. This goes round into the tunnels, which could signify that it goes who knows where. Now the reality is it comes out the other side, which isn't as pretty, and it goes into this rather bare looking part of the board at the moment where other trains are being held. I call it a stockyard, some people call it a fiddle yard. I at this moment in time will probably leave this what we call non-scenic. That's scenic, okay, that's non-scenic. This tunnel will extend around here and probably come out here. There is a chance I might put some sort of a wall. I said there, look, wall. So that might just separate the scenic, which this will be, from the stockyard. Now, as long as I can see over the top of it, I can then choose something like the Flying Scotsman there, or that Deltic. I think the APT is sat over there, it is. There's a little Terrier at the end there, which I love the little engines. I think it's amazing they should even work. But there it is, with a goods train just sat waiting to join the track over here. So you can see now, looking down the backboard, you can see where the scenic turns non-scenic, and then it all joins up into this intersection here where the two branch lines rejoin the two main lines. And this is something that you YouTubers wouldn't have seen yet. Now, my mind on this part of the layout has been changed several times. I even had my poor daughter spend an afternoon making a paper mache hillside, only for me to tear it up and decide that it wasn't such a good idea. To cover all that track from there to somewhere there seemed a bit of a shameful waste. I mean, these trains really want to be seen, and I think you'll agree if I drop my camera down here just for a moment. Of course there's nothing coming, but it will do. Especially if I go down low like this. Now then, they're going to pass each other at the same time here. This is typical, isn't it? There it goes. And there comes the 37. Okay. So what I've opted for is basically to do this sort of muddy bridge. There's tyre tracks already starting to form in there. it'll be rough grass, it'll probably just be unkept, and it'll kind of disappear into the distance, if you can imagine what I'm trying to say there. Obviously the limitations of any size room puts a boundary to it that can look a little bit unnatural, but again, it is only a model. These scenic boards here, I've just been experimenting with some spray glue, what am I talking about? Spray paint. The one in the background, incidentally, is a photographic print, and getting them to the size that I actually want is somewhat of a challenge. So I've had a little go with that paint here, although that's not a very good covering. I just wanted to see the colour, to see how it looks. I'm sure you can imagine with a bit of effort I will get a nice cloudy bluey sky effect, which will just blend into the background. So that brings us round now to nearly where we started. Now on Topley Dale they do have a canal and a bridge. I wanted to do something similar to give it a bit of interest, because these are nice models, these, and painted up nicely they can be made to look quite real. And there is, I know you YouTubers have seen this before, but there is here a little model of a canal barge. Now to most of you, hey ho, it's just another canal barge. What's important about this one to me is my mum made this. Now my mum made this when I was still about 12 years of age. Well, I can tell you now I'm 52 at the moment, and she passed away, cracky, 1990 something I think, at the age of 43. It's the only thing I've got that she made that survived, and as luck would have it, it's the same scale as this railway, and it will be sitting, once I get it done, in there. I know she'd be thrilled, and it's just something nice to think that, although she'll never see it, she'll be very much part of this layout one way or another. So there's the valley, there's the sides of the canal. There'll be a resin that makes a water effect in there. Who knows, we might just add the shopping trolley for effect, and we'll make it look as real as possible. And again, this will be blue sky, which brings us back round to this corner, which is the village again, or the station, the village station. And grab that while it's going round. There we go. The signals actually work. You can probably see they're lit. I don't know if I've got a button down here to operate one. I'll try. Oh no, that's turning lights out. Put them back on. Hang on a minute. One thing I should do is make there we are. Really, that should be up, shouldn't it? And there's the other one that goes green as well. And down they go. Brilliant, aren't they? To think when I was a kid, I'll just take you over here. The best we had was those up there. And, you could alter them with your fingers. There was no light or anything like that. It just shows how far things have come since we were children to what us grown-up children are playing with today. Same can be said for like the Stephenson's rocket in there. It hasn't been on the rails for a while, but that actually works. That is a working loco. I mean, it weighs, I don't know, nothing. I mean, it's grams rather than ounces. But anyway, I shall put that on the line for you all to have a look at. So, where are we going next? Well, I've only put this bit in here to show you where we're heading with this. Now, the reason I'm starting obviously at the back is because with this new board that's going in here, I'm not going to be able to reach very far. I can reach far enough to maintain things, but detail will have to be done now before this board goes in. Now, I was umming and ahhing what to do with this. Although this turntable is the same as the one that's going to be in there, I've actually got the ADM one, which is electronic, and the idea I've got is that I'm going to put some engine sheds around here, and there'll be lines coming off here and joining up with this track here. Now at the moment you can see the curve that I've penciled in, but that will go along there, and again it'll be a bit more interest, and it'll provide a little bit more storage room for some of the locos that are currently still sat in boxes. I've got about 3 locos up here. There's well, I don't know what there is, but I know there's 2 or 3. There's a 47 in there and another Deltic. So it would be nice to have them sort of like on show in the engine sheds. And again, I can then get to town on this, probably bring the canal out a little bit. I don't know yet. There'll be something. It evolves. All right. So the reason I did the bridge like that is so that there can be some sort of access away from the railway, which means I'll have to put railings in there, because you've got to think, if there's people, there's got to be boundaries and so forth. So that is it, I think. So I hope that gives my friend Diane a good overview of what's happening here, how it's going together. I don't know where I've got that from, but there's bits of stuff falling on the track. You better keep watching this. So I think what I'll do to finish is we'll just have a little running session now, watch these trains go round. Of course, it looks so much better if you get the camera down low, like that. They suddenly stop looking like models and become more real when you put yourself in the eye line of how it would be if you was actually stood there with a camera in your own hands. See if I can get it this way. Bit of a silhouette because the light is behind. Where shall we go next? Oh, this is always a nice spot here, watching them come round out of the tunnel. See if I can track it a little bit. There we go. Imagine this is a drone. Down low for the first bit. I'll have to jump up because it'll take me out otherwise. Just while I was filming this, I remembered that this bit of track here seemingly jumps off the end of the board and goes absolutely nowhere. The original idea was to have the turntable somewhere in this space here, and I've gone against that idea now. I'm thinking that maybe that over there will be far better, and it still gives me the freedom to run up and down as much as I can anyhow. Who knows, I might even bring this further out and just have a narrow bit down the middle. I can't go any wider, so what I can do is slowly close in on myself. I don't know. These, like I said before, these things just keep evolving. But eventually you'll get nice little scenic shots like this down here. And soon that will be looking over points, going down to the engine sheds, looking over the canal, moving across to the town, down the stockyard, into the country, into oblivion. Alright. What I will do, not today though, and I will have to learn how to piece together an edited video. I'll probably run 2 or 3 different trains so you can see it operating a bit more like a real railway, in the sense that, imagine you're stood there on the side of the station, you don't know what's coming next, and it could be a goods train, it could be a passenger train, it could be something that doesn't stop, it could be a steam train special, it could just be an opportunity for me to show off all these lovely locos. Who knows what it could be? Whatever it's going to be, it'll be fun. Alright. So what we got? We've got 21 minutes now, which I think is enough to bore anyone to tears. Hopefully next time you see it, there'll be a little bit more greenery and ballasting in the corner, and maybe something else running. So to my YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And for you, Diane, well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And to anybody else watching this on Facebook, friends of mine, I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.